Today we talk about balance sheets, how you can use them, how you can read them, and most importantly, how you can use them in the most efficient way possible. So what are balance sheets great for? Now, balance sheets are very important to look into when you're investing in a company. Let's say, for example, companies that have weak balance sheet tend to not focus so much on the long term as much as on the short term. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say for example that the company is going through challenging times right now, like the pandemic that we're currently in. Now we see actually a lot of companies filing for bankruptcy or even taking out loans from the bank which have an interest rate of 10% and higher. Now what that does to a company is that it affects them a lot in the long run. Now if we have a company which has a strong balance sheet and goes through a recession, those companies usually have a lot of cash and cash equivalent. They have a lot of short and long term investments. Like the ratio of the cash and cash equivalent and debt differentiates a lot and is usually like roughly around 5-1 depending on which industry you're currently looking at. Now before we look into a balance sheet, we need to cover up some terms. For example, cash and cash equivalent is cash which the company has on hand and which the company can spend whenever they want. Now, short-term investments are usually investments which range from a year to 12 months, and long-term investments are usually the company investing in another company. Those usually are in a time span of 12 months and greater. Now, short-term debt is debt that the company needs to pay within the next 12 months, and long-term debt is usually greater than a year. Now let's for example look at a regular balance sheet. Let's take Apple as an example. Let's just do low numbers for the sake of math. Let's say Apple has a cash and cash equivalent of 5. They have short-term investments of 4 and they have long-term investments of 11. Now this makes 20. Let's say Apple has long-term debt of 5 and short-term debt of also 5, which leaves them with 10. Now considering that, that would mean that Apple has a 2-to-1 ratio. Now the ratio can differentiate a lot depending on which industry you're looking at. If we take semiconductors for example, semiconductors need to have very strong balance sheets. Now let's look at the semiconductor companies. Let's say that a semiconductor company has Apple as its biggest client, and Apple stands for 20% of their revenue. What would have happened if Apple would have dropped that company? That company would have lost 20% of their revenue, just like that. Now in semiconductor companies, I usually tend to look at companies which have a 10-to-1 ratio, because if Apple would have dropped that company and that company would have lost 20% of their revenue, I need to know that that company still has cash and investments to not take a loan from the bank for that particular year, and more importantly to not go bankrupt. But now if we look for example at Wynn Resorts before the pandemic, of course, we tend to see ratios of 1-to-1 or 2-to-1, and that's because Wynn Resort is a company which usually takes up a lot of debt to build as many properties as possible. Now how do we know what a good ratio is? To determine a good ratio for the industry that you're currently looking at, we would need to look at the peers that are in the same industry. So for example, let's say I want to buy shares of Chipotle, and what I need to do is I need to look at other fast food companies, compare their balance sheets and their ratio. Let's say Chipotle has a ratio of 2-to-1, McDonald's has a ratio of 3-to-1, Cheesecake Factory has a ratio of 5-to-1. Now that just shows me that Chipotle has a weak balance sheet compared to its peers. So just remember, before you invest in a company, just take a look at their balance sheet and determine if the ratio is pretty decent or just shitty as fuck. I'll keep it in my kitchen cupboard till the summer will be lovers.